This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 49.
Another one from Brian Deemer.
Welcome to the show. We're glad you're with us here. I'm Brian Deemer.
I am Peter Rios. XMen.
Fire, Superman,
Batman.
Colossus, the Phantom. We got a Geek of the Day.
We can be sexy bitches too.
Bite Me Fanboy. How did you first get into comic books? This is Comic Geek Speak.
We love them.
ComicGeekSpeak.blogspot.com.
It's just so entertaining.
All right, and welcome to the show. This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 49, brought to you in conjunction with WorldFamousComics.com, your spot on the internet for the best comic book and entertainment-related columns, contests, features, reviews, news, resources, and more. I'm Brian Deemer.
I'm Scott.
I'm Kevin Moyer.
I'm Jamie D.
I'm Peter Rios. He's not ready.
It's supposed to be playing.
Damn it!
We're just gonna outwit LaFour's X-Men style.
Should I call you Logan, Weapon X?
No, Wolverine, snickty, snoring.
What he's doing is imitating Wolverine's berserker attack with his adamantium claws.
Okay.
What are you doing over there?
It doesn't. When it gets to the end of a track, you try to
goes to the
hit
next
pause, but it's already like on its way to the next track, and then it's too late. And
Comic Geek Speak, professionalism right out the window.
okay.
That's all right.
All right, for this episode, we have in store a crossover event, not like the previously recorded crossover events of With Los Comic Geekos, but an actual live, on-the-phone, real-time crossover with Joe and Julio from Comic News Insider podcast, which is pretty cool. You should check it out and listen to that. And so we just taped it like 2 minutes ago, but we're just putting this intro on in front of it because we didn't have everything set up in time to just roll right into it seamlessly. So without further ado, our crossover.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, it's all us CGS guys here, and on the phone with us, and likewise we're on the phone with them, is we have the guy Joe and the other guys at Comics News Insider podcast. How you guys doing out there?
Very good. This is Joe, and this is Julio, live from Harlem. New York City. New York City.
That's where you guys are at in Harlem?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah.
Where's the Falcon?
Screw that, where's Luke Cage?
So, who do we got over there in the studio at Comic Geek Speak?
Well, it's me, Brian.
Scott, but I can't hear you.
Kevin.
Jamie D.
And Peter Rios.
Excellent.
Cool.
So we're chatting today about our favorite comic book-related cartoons.
Okay.
That we've all loved back in the day.
Oh, we hated them all. I don't know.
Well, there's some good ones today.
Yeah.
I've got many a dusty VHS. Many. Exactly. Yeah, Julio's got a nice collection of some of the old classics. Obscure.
Like, are you talking like back in the Marvel 60s, 70s stuff?
Well, how far back do you have stuff? I have that Spider-Woman series. Wow.
Spider-Woman.
Yeah, it only lasted 1 year on ABC.
Kevin will know all about that as soon as he gets his... Come on, get your headphones in.
I stumped them already.
Minor technical malfunction.
He said the Spider-Woman cartoon, the ABC series.
Oh, yeah, from 1978. The Patty Freeling one-season Spider-Woman with Joan Van Ark, who did the voice for Jessica Drew.
Yeah. Good trivia. Wow.
Hey, if it's Spider-Man related, Kevin knows the answer.
Okay. So we should have, I guess, prepared a Stump the Rios for. Oh yeah. Didn't think of that. For the cartoons.
Okay, that's it. There's no more crossover. We're done. Bye.
If it was a Stump the Rios on cartoons, I would have been stumped. I don't know. I watched them, but I don't know the ins and outs on all of them.
Yeah, it's too bad Shane's not here because he knows that cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
Like no one's business.
Mask, all that crap.
Is this...
Okay, so actually I took some time to take a little poll, and I polled a bunch of our fellow podcasters on the Comics Podcast Network, and also a bunch of people on Newsarama. And I sent you guys a copy of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have some pretty not so surprising results, I don't think, out of all the ones that we ran through. I think the winner is Batman the Animated Series.
Yep.
And that, yeah, I saw that was pretty much the general consensus on the forum.
Right.
At least somebody, I guess it was Maximum Glory, mirrored my suggestion for the '60s Spider-Man. So at least I had somebody else besides me.
But which incarnation of the Batman animated, or are we lumping them all together?
It's a lump.
I mean, is it Batman and Robin, Batman Adventures, all that? Because actually, I preferred the one with Robin in it, the young Robin, not the Dick Grayson, Tim Drake Robin.
Yeah.
I thought those were some of the better ones that they did.
That's a rarity.
Yeah, well, I'm a pretty rare person.
I didn't like the character design of that year.
I did. There's just something about that voice that they used for Robin, and some of the episodes, especially the Superman one where he had to disguise himself as Batman. They couldn't find Batman, and that one's one of my all-time favorite ones.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Is that the year they went all black with the costume? They made it darker?
Got rid of the yellow logo.
Yeah. Cool.
So it was more like the Dark Knight kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think, well, Batman, the interesting one that we noticed is that the Batman, the newest one, there was like 0 votes for.
Yeah.
No one seems to be into the newest one. Jackie Chan Batman? Jackie Chan Batman.
The Oriental Bruce Wayne.
I know it appeals to, like, my nephews watch that religiously. They love. I guess it's more for a younger audience, and I guess also because it strays a bit from comic books. It's not, it's such a different beast. So that's got to be why it's not high on anybody's list.
Yeah, it's something new. I don't know how many episodes have been out. I've watched it a few times, and I like the style of it and such. It's different, but I guess it's kind of the thing too. I think. How many times are you going to redo, you know what I mean?
Right.
The same thing.
Yep.
I never saw any of the Batman and Robin ones.
Really?
Never. Not a single one.
Huh.
I when that Batman animated first came out, I watched a few of them regularly in the first season, and then I never watched it since then. You know me in animation.
I know.
I don't know.
I know.
Okay, so what's some of everyone's picks? Maybe your top 3 or so favorite animated series.
Well, I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say it was all from when I was a kid. So it was Super Friends, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and I don't know what else comic related. That's all I remember watching that was comic related.
I mean, are you restricting it to comics, or so like Hanna-Barbera stuff and stuff wouldn't be included like that, like Herculoids or anything like that, Space Ghost?
No, I guess not.
Just stick it to specifically comics.
Mention them. Yeah, I think we actually had some people in the poll that gave us a bunch of other non-comic related ones. I think they just threw on there because.
I guess we'll just keep it simple and keep it all the comic related stuff. Then there's no question. There's no. Final.
Yeah.
I would say for me then it would be the '60s Spider-Man has been my all-time favorite, the Batman animated series, and then the Justice League Unlimited have been my favorite incarnations.
Jeez, I was thinking one and it just went straight out of my brain. Actually, the Max Fleischer Superman series, the '60s Spider-Man with Kevin, just because these are of my youth, and I'd have to put Batman, the Batman animated series, all with my favorite being what I said, the Batman and Robin incarnation.
Hey, was G.I. Joe a comic book first and then a cartoon, or what?
Yeah, it was a comic book first.
So I guess you
All
could.
right, well then I'm going to include G.I. Joe, round out my top 3.
Nice.
I loved that when I was a kid.
It was a toy first, and then it was all those things.
Right, yeah.
First it was a real 12-inch toy.
Yes,
It was Kung Fu Grip.
Kung Fu Grip.
I remember that.
That's how old we are.
That was the explanation.
I have my own kung fu grip now after years of studying.
That's why they always said the Bionic Woman had black and blue breasts.
Oh, jeez. This is Peter. I'd have to say my all-time favorite is Challenge of the Super Friends with the Legion of Doom.
And I'm watching some of those on DVD now, just like revisiting the past. And
Right.
Well, some of them are so bad.
Oh yeah. I don't fault you on that at all. I don't think this episode. I don't think this episode is part of the Legion of Doom. Maybe it is, but the one where they go to Wizard of Oz, that's with Mixes Pitalik. That's painful.
But when you're 5, that's cool.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Wonder Woman turned into the lion, and Superman was Tin Man, and Aquaman was the Scarecrow. Come on, it was perfect.
They were. It was interesting. It was a neat thing to do, and especially with Mixelplick.
Yeah.
Mixelplick, I think. That one.
Mixelpitalik.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I really love the Justice League, both the Unlimited and the older, the original one.
See that last episode?
Yes. Did I see the last episode?
The Batman Beyond
The Batman
one?
Beyond one?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was fantastic because I used to love Batman Beyond, and I was sorry to see that they didn't continue with that because I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a nice extension on the Batman franchise, and it was done so very well and very different. And to see all that tied together in that episode was, I really enjoyed that.
And the story behind it was that was written as a final episode.
Well, yeah, and it also ties into the whole storyline going on in Justice League Unlimited, so it was all relative.
With the Justice Lords and all those, and
He'll be back for another year.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller.
She did well.
My third one, I should really put Spider-Man Amazing Friends, but since that's been said, I'll pick the current Teen Titans just because that's so close to my heart. And they just did 2 storylines that, in both seasons, that went exactly, sort of like the comics. And to see that played out on the screen, and they gave it some weight and some depth. They strayed away from some of the silliness that they usually do. I thought that was just amazing. So that would be my 3.
Scott?
Me.
All these people who are liking Spider-Man and his amazing friends, it was shown back to back with the Hulk. That's so, and the Hulk is not getting any love here.
I don't remember that.
Ever seeing
No.
the Hulk cartoon
Well,
in my entire
that
life.
version of the Hulk was that was this the first Hulk cartoon that they did was it was all right. I mean, they had some interesting stories in it and stuff. I actually enjoyed the '90s Hulk cartoon better than I enjoyed that '80s version. I thought the stories were more intense and they were more true to the character, and it was just overall more interesting, I thought.
I wonder if they didn't show it where I was watching TV.
Well,
I
it didn't.
never
It didn't
remember
start that way. When Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends first aired and stuff, it was solo. It wasn't until later, like the 2nd or 3rd season, where they put it back to back as the Hulk. Because then they had a whole new intro. It was like an hour-long show, and it had an intro with both the Hulk and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Wow, I don't remember that.
I don't
at all.
remember it either. Yeah.
Because I remember they had Savage She-Hulk in there, and
Oh, that I kind of remember now.
they had some episodes like that. I remember some of the episodes, but it doesn't it doesn't ring as true as the '90s version. I thought anyway.
Story-wise, yeah.
And that's why I didn't mention Spider-Woman, because I love Spider-Woman and have since '79 when her comic was out. But it's like you said, how do you because it's not my favorite cartoon because the stories were pretty crappy and they kind of really went stupid with some of her powers, like they gave her powers she didn't have and things like that. But it's just neat to see her on TV, though. That was cool.
So, Julio, would Hulk be in your pick? No, the only reason I liked that series was his transformation in every episode, which was like the coolest thing, I guess, when I was a kid. That was like the coolest thing like I had seen. Like they had like a lot of flashing things in the background. I don't know if you remember, and like the camera kind of like panned all around him as he was changing.
It was like that 360 thing where it kind of panned around him as he was changing, and they had the energy blast from the gamma radiation coming off of him. And
So what you're saying is it was better than Thing Ring Do Your Thing.
Definitely.
Hey, would you guys remember? I think because we talked about this on an earlier episode, but I don't think anyone else remembered exactly. Didn't on one of those cartoons? Didn't Stan Lee do the intro?
Yes, he did. Well, wait. He made physically? No.
No. His voice.
Yeah, his voice. Yes, he used to do both Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and the Hulk.
All right, that's what I thought.
And he also did the Iron Man and Fantastic Four and the Hulk from the '90s as well. Those you actually saw him. You know, Stan Lee, you actually saw him. He used to come on with the animated background in the background and kind of give you a little intro to the story, you know, and like, enjoy, you know, and then go after it. And Spider-Man and Amazing Friends and the Hulk, you only heard his voice.
Okay.
All right, what's your 3?
Did he finish his question?
My 3 has to be... It's got to be Batman the Anime Series, obviously. Season everything, all seasons. And then, you know, it's kind of hard for me to say, but, I mean, I hate to say to call it because it's so recent, but Justice League, both years, regular and unlimited, have just been crazy. Yeah. Like, it was just so nice to see that. And then, my third, the third is hard. It's gotta be a classic. God.
Was it Rainbow Bright?
My Little Pony.
Although I did watch Gem.
I watched Gem.
Oh my God.
They were hot.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Gem rocks, man.
There was a comic book of Gem, wasn't there?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like Marvel did.
I'm pretty sure. Was
Like
that one of
yeah,
those Star comics?
Star Comics, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
She was a dirty little girl.
My, well, you planted the third one. I think my 3 would have to be, I have to go with the obvious Batman, the animated series, Justice League also I found to be just a great new stories that they came out with. And I will actually go back to Max Fleischer's Superman as well from the 40s because I have those on DVD as well, and I thought the animation and the direction for its time was so ahead of its time. The work was just really, really great. I mean, I have an original cell from one of the series as well.
Cool.
That's cool.
It's really, really great stuff. He had to remortgage his home for that.
I would imagine.
Not that bad. It was really nice, though. Myron Waltman.
He just kicked the dealer in the nuts and ran off with it. I think it's.
Exactly. You saw me at the convention?
Yeah.
We got one more over here that's going to give his top 3. Scott's going to give his top 3 here.
Well, I guess I could do the same as everyone else. The Batman animated series, the Justice League, the new Teen Titans is really good. I'm really loving that because all these other ones, all the older ones, I remember sitting in front of the TV when I was young and yelling at them. You know, to at least change your shirt. Come on, give me something more here. That was all the Spider-Man 60s, it had that LSD flavor to it with the when he would swing in front of it and you'd get the swirling backgrounds, the Mysterio, so it's made me think I was high. And I was just a little nipper. Those would be my favorites. I just think they're finally doing really good ones, and it started with the Batman animated series, and then they've done a whole bunch of really good ones after that.
Right.
Though X-Men Evolution hasn't gotten mentioned, and that was good. They showed them on Cartoon Network a while ago, like all of them back to back, basically a couple times. I managed to see most of them. Taken all together, they were actually pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good. It wasn't great or anything, but it was better than most of the X comics at that time. Wasn't saying a lot.
I was gonna say that's not saying much, but
Some of the voices drive me a little nut. Rogue's voice in particular drives me absolutely crazy. Ugh.
I know, but I think the animation was neat. I thought it was different because I didn't like the animation from the '90s X-Men cartoon. I thought that was like they tried to overshadow it, and it was kind of I don't know, just wasn't very pleasing. Whereas the X-Men Evolution animation and the character designs are really fresh and new, and I have a bunch of those on DVD and watch them every once in a while. There's some good stories, especially the Captain America episode. That was cool.
Yeah, that was a really good one. The end, I guess it was near the end, the Apocalypse story that they did. It was basically the last story, I think. the last one I would always see. That was really good too. It finally was an apocalypse story that made sense without going 3.5 years in the making or whatever they went. There was some crazy stuff, but it was good.
Did Julio come up with his third?
Yeah, what is it? I was actually gonna say the latter years of the X-Men series.
There you go.
The first year was really, I guess, not too great, but as they went on, they started doing those 5-part series. I really enjoyed those, and the animation got more solid for me. Like they just started adding like a lot more. It seemed like ink. I don't know. It just seemed more depth. Like, and I just enjoyed those later on.
I'd agree, because that's when they did the Dark Phoenix saga and things like that, and it was fun to watch those episodes go down.
I never saw any of them.
So on nobody's list is nobody saw Wildcats.
Oh, I've got episode 1 on tape.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry.
On beta, no. Hey, I have to interrupt with a technical question.
Go for it.
Could a couple of you guys move a little closer to the phone? A little closer. Don't be shy.
Sure.
Yeah. Or we'll shout.
It's just hard to hear a couple things.
No problem.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Because we're all brilliant. Everything we say is brilliance.
Wouldn't want to miss it.
We have to. I think. Yeah. If you go back to some of the old, even the non-comic book ones, one of my favorites, which like comes up every now and then, and I don't know if you guys saw it, was the Galaxy Rangers.
I remember the Galaxy Trio.
That would be just. That was really good.
But I don't remember the Galaxy Rangers. I remember the Hanna-Barbera Galaxy Trio, but...
No, this was the Galaxy Rangers. What I really liked about it was that, not to be morbid, but they actually killed characters.
Wow.
Like someone would actually get shot and die, which I thought was like a big deal for an animated, like afternoon, after school animated series. They were like Western deputies in space. Yeah, pretty much. But I would always get ticked off that when I would watch like G.I. Joe, and there'd be like this hail of laser fire, and everyone would come out unscathed.
It's like the A-Team.
Yeah.
And every time a plane would blow up, you'd see a parachute.
Yep.
And I'm like, come on. Cobra spent millions on parachutes.
Sign of the times.
They should have been teaching their agents how to shoot.
It all started with Herbie the Robot, is where that all started from.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed about G.I. Joe as I got older? That all of the major, I guess, Cobra villains have accents.
Yeah, that's true.
That's because...
Except for Cobra Commander, obviously, because he's got the snake thing going. But everybody else has, like, some Trans-Carpathian, European...
Yes.
That's where evil comes from.
That's because anybody with an accent is evil, so that's the way it is. That and a goatee.
Oh, man. Hey.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, so we had some other input from non-comic book series. Some people put up Mask, even stuff like Invader Zim and Samurai Jack, some of the latest ones. Transformers, Gargoyles, Thundercats.
Well, yeah, if I was going to give my top 3 favorite cartoons of all time, it'd be Voltron, Transformers, and Star Blazers. End of discussion for me. So none of them would be comic book related,
Doesn't anybody remember Orbots?
The Mighty Orbots.
Mighty Orbots?
You bet. I have those.
Do you?
On tape, yeah. I have the whole series on tape. I love that. That and the Bionic 6.
Yeah.
Those were great. With
Which
Lord
one?
Umbra.
What's that, Joe?
Which was the other one?
What was it? Bionic 6, you say?
The Bionic 6.
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
That was like the family
Yep.
Bionic
I
superhero
five,
team.
An A5 for me. Oh. As close as we can be, high in the mountain and deep in the sea. hell yeah. You know that. Someone notices.
So you're...
They were die-cast. They were heavy. Oh, the toy. It was great.
Could fling them real good.
So we're not talking about the Bionic Three Stooges, right? That's not where you're not talking about that one, right?
No.
Mighty Heroes. There's one for me. That's
Mighty
Yeah.
Heroes.
one of my favorites.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Strong Man, Tornado Man, Rope Man, Cuckoo Man,
Diaper
Diaper
Man.
Man.
What's the other one?
Actually,
There's another one.
I am a big fan.
Rope
For
Man.
recent stuff, I'm a really big fan of the work that Gendy Tartakovsky did with Samurai Jack.
I watched a few of those episodes, but I didn't get it. But they were good. They were good.
Yeah.
They were different.
It
Yeah.
was certainly different.
He did all the Clone Wars animated series also.
That was brilliant. I mean, that blew the Star Wars movies out of the water. Just did.
I only saw the beginning of Clone Wars. Yeah, it was great.
What about what was the one? I just had it and I just lost it. I can't think. Hold on. I just thought of one and I can't.
I guess it must be the age thing or something, because I mean nobody's mentioning the old Hanna-Barbera stuff with the old Herculoids and the Impossibles and Space Ghost and Birdman and all that stuff. Where
Blue Falcon.
I never saw any of those. I don't
you never saw any of those, Brian?
Yeah,
That's great stuff.
I saw all those too, but I like that the rehashing now that Cartoon Network is doing is pretty clever.
Yeah, and it's it's taken off. I mean, especially like Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I mean,
Absolutely.
for not being well renowned, so to speak, and then all of a sudden to have like a pseudo talk show with a comic character in it, and it's been going on for how many seasons now?
Well, it was an awesome opportunity because they acquired all the rights for all those shows. So, and they had that archive. So they was like, what do we do with it? And that was, just a perfect opportunity to spin off all this stuff with Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and all the stuff they're doing. I thought that's good stuff.
That used to be my early mornings. They used to, when they first acquired those properties, they used to show all those cartoons like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and show them all back to back in the mornings like that. Have them like 3 or 4 and a half an hour episode or something.
Yeah. Now they created the spin-off network Boomerang, and that has all the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons running all the time.
One of my other non-comic ones was Johnny Quest. I used to love Johnny Quest.
You should watch the Venture Brothers. I'm looking forward to new Venture Brothers. That show was hilarious. The Fantastic Four send-up they did. I don't know if anyone saw it. It was brilliant. I love that. The show just turned out. I watched the first one. I was like, "What's going on here?" And then I watched more. It was just great. It really was.
I gotta sit down and watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
haven't.
was funny. That was a funny series. It was that kind of humor you had to really be able to appreciate to get.
What about Super Pac-Man?
Hubert.
Come on, Rubik's.
Pole position.
I loved that pole position cartoon. I loved it. That car would turn into a hovercraft and like a jet thing. It was awesome.
And just for that statement, you should never talk about cartoons again. Just for that statement.
A hovercraft.
For those younger audience members, Pole Position was a video game on Atari.
Oh, I'll take that even further. Does anybody there remember Saturday Supercade?
No.
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 That sounds.
That was the show that had like 10-minute cartoons of Q-Bert, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Frogger.
Frog.
Wow. But I tell you, I was actually doing research about this. There is only one episode available, like in bootleg.
Really? With all those shorts?
Yeah, with those, because no one thought about recording that crap back then. Like VCRs were like, they were still pop-topping.
Yeah, top-loading VCR.
Exactly. So there's only one episode out there. So if I could get my hands on it, I'll make a copy and send it over to Philly.
Jeez.
What about the CBS attempt when they did like Lone Ranger and Pandemonium, Gilligan's Planet.
And Black Star.
Yeah.
And how can we forget Thundar the Barbarian?
Oh, Thundar.
Thunder. Well, now there's this return. I know, Brian, you might know it from the show, but they had that big push for the return of He-Man.
Yes.
You see that booth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with like Paul Dini and all them at the Tower Records booth.
Yes, exactly. Didn't he already come back?
Yeah, they did it. CrossGen did a series on him, and I got it, and it was decent.
Well, they did a cartoon, too. There was a new updated cartoon that didn't fly.
Kevin, did you buy the first series of He-Man on DVD?
No, I didn't. But I used to watch it. I used to go home from work and watch it.
Yeah.
Me and my foreman that I used to work with, we used to go home and watch it and talk about it the next day at work. That was like our thing, because the other guys were sitting there talking about frickin' Dynasty and crap. So, so we kind of countered it and balanced it out by talking about He-Man and G.I. Joe.
So now, you guys had, what was the other episode? I don't know if you remember what episode number it is, but you had another episode that talked a lot about specifically Saturday morning cartoons, right?
Yes. Number 20.
Okay. And what was that? Mostly discussing all the older
Oh, yeah, and we played the theme songs to them, and we were guessing which theme song it was, and we were just reminiscing in general. It was a good episode.
That's awesome.
Definitely a lot of fun to sit there and listen to the theme songs and see if you could remember which cartoon it was by trying to assimilate.
Do you guys have any love for the Ruby Spears Superman?
Oh, yeah.
That was great. I used to watch it. I loved that. And I keep looking for that, and it's hard to even try to find a decent videotape of the whole one season that they did that. Because I used to like it. They used to have the little short stories at the end, which had like a theme to it,
Right.
kind of like a point for kids or something. But the cartoons themselves were very well done. Stories were great. Art was... Gil Kane did a lot of the concepts for that, which I enjoyed.
Well, no one made a point as good as G.I. Joe. Oh, God.
I fire my gun into the air all the time and never hit anyone.
No, they had that message at the end. Whenever I see a power line on the street, I know I want to jump over it. Actually, there's some great online. There's these great mock or these like fake versions of the G.I. Joe.
Yes. I've seen some of those, and they're just absolutely hilarious. Where the kids will be looking up at one of the G.I. Joe guys, going, "What the hell is he talking about? I don't get it. He's an ass," and stuff like that. It was very funny.
Yeah, Julio has those on his computer. They're classic.
Yes.
You could also check out www.seanbaby.com, and he does a lot of send-ups on the the Super Friends cartoon. So he'll take pictures, clips off the DVDs, and just make them into little comics and put in some new dialogue, and they're pretty funny too.
Have you? And I'm assuming you've seen the absolutely classic rip-off of the "What's Up" commercial using the Super Friends.
Yes, I have. Yeah, that is awesome.
That might be the best moment in animation history, I think.
That was scary. Forgot about that. That was awesome. I wanted to forget about it.
Cool.
So as far as animation-wise goes, the look, the feel, the way it moves, what do you think is the worst besides the old Marvel original ones where they use stills and they just move them? Because I swear my vote for it has to be that 90s Fox Spider-Man series. I don't know if anybody over there caught when it was on, but they used to slow down certain scenes to make it work with the dialogue.
Yeah, and then they also, sometimes the swinging through the city, it didn't gel up with the movement of the background and such, So there was things like that kind of stood out that didn't kind of flow together. Of course, that was one of the first cartoons where they used, infuse computer animation in with the regular 2D animation, so that's probably why a lot of that happened. I think I love Spider-Man, and I like that '90s series. At least they followed a lot of the comic storylines and kind of embellished on them and did pretty well. But some of them were kind of a little lackluster, and yeah, the animation wasn't. There was some though that you could tell that they sent out to a different animation studio. I remember one of the Green Goblin episodes where he kidnaps Mary Jane and takes her to the top of the bridge, and they do that whole storyline. There was like a different animation. It was like more of a Jap animation kind of style, and that was really cool. But the standard, every day, like 80% of the animation for the whole series was kind of, just average or a little less than that.
So who is the main Transformers fan over there?
That would be me, Brian.
All right. I've got a shrine in the corner of my living room.
I have a few of my old toys on display in my comic room, but I don't know. Either I never owned as many as I thought I did, or they got lost along the way. But I think it was one of those things where I was collecting G.I. Joe and Transformers, so you just couldn't have it all. So I had much more G.I. Joe toys than I did Transformers, but I did love the Transformers.
I still have the Constructicons and Shockwave, and I know I have Ravage somewhere, but it's the same thing. And that was back when kids actually played with their toys,
Yeah.
and not nowadays where we collect them and hide them away from the sun. But they're all broken, and pieces fall off of them so easily. But they were fun.
My favorite one that I had was the tape recorder guys at Soundwave.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of the different tapes, and he was my favorite. The biggest. The toy that I had of the most popular main character, that was one. Some guys had Optimus Prime. I wasn't cool enough to have him, or Megatron, but I had Soundwave, and so he was my favorite.
Shockwave was the most popular. I think he was the jet, right? Everybody wanted.
Was that the purple jet?
Starscream? No.
Starscream?
Starscream. Everybody wanted.
Who was the purple jet? Was that Starscream?
Skywarp.
That's the one. I had that one.
I can remember everybody wanting Starscream in the worst way. That's his name, right?
He had that really high-pitched...
Yeah, exactly. Megatron! Everybody wanted him.
Not me.
No, oh God, I hate to put a damper on it, but he passed away a couple of years ago.
What,
Who's that?
Yeah. That guy who did his voice and Cobra Commander's voice.
Was that the same guy?
Oh.
How about that?
Huh.
Same guy. Sad. Yeah.
Cobra!
You see, it was the same voice. That's right.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So what did you think about season 3 when they jumped 20 years ahead?
Now you're asking me questions about the show, and of that I can answer nothing. I just remember that I liked it.
Oh, that's breaking my heart.
Well, I was all excited when the new Dreamwave comics were coming out because I could actually get back into it, and then of course they went belly up. So now I got to wait for the next company who just bought them to take over again. So we'll see.
You can go see the movie.
I can't wait. What? You're not excited about that?
Well, Julio, I've got a bad feeling about that.
Hey, you didn't see the truck in San Diego.
That was some truck.
That's right.
Hey, you know what? Funny enough, yeah, Joe had told me about that, and there's a really funny clip on iFilm. Has anybody seen it?
No.
There's a funny clip on iFilm.com that they did a short thing about the San Diego Comic-Con, and they speak to the woman who was modeling the truck, and
right.
she so did not want to be there. She was just like, yeah, I'm here, and there's a truck, and people keep asking me about it, and it's not going to do anything except back up out of here. And she loves her job.
I'm surprised she even knew that.
Yeah. Because we were conjecturing on the preview night Wednesday. We're like, ooh, maybe on Friday or Saturday it'll transform into Optimus Prime. It'll be so cool. And then it was just a tractor trailer under a black tarp.
Yeah. It's a giant black tarp.
I was expecting some kind of something by Sunday.
Yeah, we got nothing.
Just some cool pins. I mean, there were some cool pins, but other than that,
What about Thundercats?
Oh. The cast was cool. It's funny. I seem to remember everything about the first year, and then there's stuff that they threw in that other year that I know nothing about the Book of Omens and New Zendara and all this stuff. I guess I wasn't watching it then.
We should send him that bloopers clip.
Oh my god, yeah. Have you heard those bloopers clips?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need more of those.
Oh, and just on the humor side, I have to throw this out. It's not a comic book, but he is a hero, and I did enjoy his comic book parody. I gotta say it, Disney's Darkwing Duck. I mean, he even had the clown jester arch villain Quacker Jack. Okay, he was his Joker. All right.
That's great.
It was fun. Disney had another one that I liked because it was on the fringe when I was like my early teens, but my younger brother was still watching cartoons, so I'd see it once in a while. It was like I think it was with the ducks where they like explorers. It was like Indiana Jones style. DuckTales. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. That was like the one that they broke out with, like at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just expanding it from there. It became the Disney Afternoon short after. Oh, right.
yeah. Actually, I always liked the Gargoyles. I always liked the storylines that they did with those, and kind of got more of an adult, mature storylines. You know, they had the stuff for the kids, but then they also had, if you watch it and really paid attention, knew your mythology. They really, I thought, did good, did well.
Yeah, they did good. I thought that they were done very well. I bought the first DVD of the pilot episode, and they had a game in there that you could play a game. It was like part of the DVD. I mean, the video disc, and
cool.
I used to sit there and play that with my daughter because it's like you had to watch clips, you know, and play the game, and depending what happened, it was a time game and stuff. It was kind of cool. At least they put, you know, it shows they put some effort into it and you know, backed it up with something, and the stories were well done. It was a good run.
Did any of you guys, were anyone fans of any of the, like, Robotech or G-Force or...
Oh my god, I love G-Force.
Really?
I just bought the second volume of the DVDs just last week.
Have you watched them? Do they hold up?
I watched the beginning, just like a couple minutes, because I don't have Volume 1 yet. I got Volume 2 because it was only $6 at Best Buy, and Volume 1 was $10, so I thought I'll snatch up the $6 one and come back for the $10 one. But, you know, it's pretty crappy, but the concept is cool, and the action scenes were always exciting for me as a kid, so that's why I kind of want them. Plus, they have cool Alex Ross covers on the DVD, so what the hell, right?
Oh, right. Now, I had heard about that series. I read it, well, like, you can believe everything you read online, but the original series that was based on, Gatchaman.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, when it was translated to America, they never let on to the fact that Zoltar guy, that he was, like, actually a he-she.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could tell under the mask he had, like, pouty lips.
Yes.
Big red lips.
But it was actually revealed further that he was, like, a cross-gender whatever. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, that would make it onto American TV.
We can't do it down in the States. Hell no.
Well, the DVDs at Best Buy are actually go by the Gatchaman title, but they're the American release. They're dubbed in English. You can watch them in Japanese with subtitles, but the default is to be dubbed in English.
If we go further into the series, you might come across that.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably get them all eventually. Just because I'm a collector at heart. So once I buy one, I have to have them all.
Well, they kind of touch on that when in the miniseries that they did, that Image did, They kind of touched a little bit on that fact, so they kind of went back to that. And I guess with Alex Ross, as much as he loved those, I guess he would want to put that kind of into that series, since he kind of oversaw it.
What about, did you guys, along those lines with the G-Force kind of cartoons and stuff, what about Speed Racer and Marine Boy? Did you guys watch those?
Astro Boy.
As a little, definitely when I was very little, I used to watch Speed Racer. I hated Speed Racer.
My parents hated Speed Racer because they used to be like in the kitchen or something, and we'd be watching Speed Racer, and you'd hear all the sound effects with like Speed going trying to turn the car and doing all kinds of crap, and they used to hate that. They used to hate it.
It's another one of those that when you're a little kid, it's exciting, but then you're older and we watch it and you're like, oh, it's not quite as exciting.
As a kid, it was cool. I mean, and the thing that I enjoyed Marine Boy actually more, which was kind of a really neat concept, and it held up. It wasn't, I don't want to say corny, because to me Speed Racer wasn't corny, but it was kind of more serious, more adult in nature, and I really enjoyed that.
Well, for some reason, I mean, I'm a big fan of all animation styles, even from manga to, hand-drawn and certainly computer animation as well, but I just can't get into any of the concepts or storylines with some of the stuff that the kids have now is like Digimon and a couple of those that are on now. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know. I have the whole concept as to what they're enjoying about those series.
No, I have no interest in even watching them. There's nothing about them that appeals to me at all.
It's all the strobe effects. It's just hypnotizing and mesmerizing them to watch it. There's subliminal messages in there that if you're under 13, you're just not getting.
Buy trading cards.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But I mean, there was that whole parents thing in the late 80s, early 90s that they were complaining that the cartoons were basically half-hour commercials for the toys that they were based on. But it's even worse now because there is no story at all. It's just about buying the cards. They're literally playing with the cards on TV. Yeah, take a moment. If you haven't watched it, watch
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think Yu-Gi-Oh! does that. Watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Try and sit through one episode. It like flips out a card and then the number appears on the screen and then it adds up. It's like, what the hell? I don't know what's going on. And they have like the guy's like thinking in his head, well, if I use my Dragon Tooth card, I'll beat his whatever. And I'm like, what is happening here? They're like, the VO is going over their head about using this. And they have the shocking background with the lines, the dramatic straight lines shining.
Because we all know in anime, if the character is still, but there are lines in back of him, that means he's moving.
That's right.
Speed lines.
And you guys, maybe you can give us a plug about, or if you want to give us a plug about how's the search going for your manga contest thing.
Oh, well, so far we have one entry.
Nice.
Default.
It's actually for anime. We have gotten no entries for manga. So I'm not sure that this contest is working out the way we planned, but we have another contest ready, so when this one is over, we'll spring it and hopefully get some more interest.
Tell us what this contest is again.
The contest is all of us who do the show don't read a lot of manga or watch an overabundance of anime. We're all familiar with it on a surface level. Scott watches a lot, but not as the rest of us don't. And so we put it out there for our audience to produce like a 2 to 4 minute segment on either manga or anime, and so then they could become a regular correspondent, and whenever they have the time and whenever there's news to report, they could send us in a clip and we'd play it on the next episode and fill us in on what's new in manga and anime.
What's new is they'll have big round eyes and spiky hair.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's not.
As we know, Julio's not the biggest fan of manga. You can't tell.
I'm trying to get into it. I found the first series I'm going to start picking up. It's called Battle Royal, and I'm going to start picking that up. And then one of our listeners actually just sent me the first 2 volumes of Samurai Executioner by the same guys who did Lone Wolf and Cub, because he had extras. So I'm going to read those, which is very cool. So
I've heard excellent things about Lone Wolf and Cub.
Oh, I've read that in the past. I've never read the whole series, but I used to have some of the issues of the comic that was released in the late 80s or early 90s, and it's excellent. And one of these days I'll pick up all those, the digests to read the whole series. But there's like 28 of them or something, and they're $10 each. So when I'm ready to commit $280, and then
Exactly.
Hey, we
seen the actual Battle Royale movie.
I haven't seen it, but I heard, a buddy of mine read the actual novel, which was the first thing that ever came out, and he said it was just intense. So
we have you have a thing you do. I assume it's every episode. 5 things you should know about, correct? Or if you don't know about, you should.
Yeah, 5 things to check out if you haven't already.
Right, and it's comics, it's movies, it's videos, it's all kinds of things, right?
Yes.
So we gathered ours, and we're going to go around the room and just give one, because there's 5 of us here. So we thought this was fun to give to you to see if maybe this one of these things you've talked about. If not, I thought, why not? I think that's a cool concept. So I'll go first. The first one is, it's something that's kind of near and dear to to CGS, because it's a guy in Australia. He does these awesome Marvel cartoons, and they're all based. The superheroes are based as if they're in like first grade or kindergarten or something like that.
Right.
And it's year1spiderspawn.com.
year1.spiderspawn.com.
There it is. year1.spiderspawn.com, and it's absolutely hysterical. And if you're a fan of webcomics, because it's basically a webcomic, it comes out once a day, 6 times a week, I think it is.
Yeah, it's Monday through Friday, and then like a color version on Sunday.
Right, and it's just really, really funny. He does some hilarious things with Doctor Doom. There's a whole big, early on, there's a Green Goblin, and who's the other villain? They're trying to, Scorpion or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Electro.
Something like it.
They're trying to outwit Spider-Man. They're coming out with this Grandmaster scheme, and all they can come up with is Spider-Man, we're going to get you, or something like that. I mean, it's just it's hysterical. So for me, that's for a webcomic. That's, if you're not checking that out, you should be. So anyway, next. This is Jamie.
Okay, actually, a series that I loved. It's an older series, but Twilight by Howard Chaykin and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. It's all the old Marvel, Jesus,
DC.
The old DC space guys, like Captain Comet and
Or
all those,
Tommy Tomorrow,
and just like grown up and just a little mature. And it's just, if you can find it, usually you can find it in a $1 box, 25-cent, 50-cent box. Don't pass it up. That's one of those that hidden treasures in your 50-cent boxes, and that's one of the ones I like a lot. So,
all right.
I'm gonna recommend a novel. This is Kevin, and I'm gonna recommend a novel called The Gentleman's Game, which is written by Greg Rucka. I picked that up. I found it in the store and picked it up, saw it was him, and read the thing on the back, and it was a very interesting description, and it really intrigued me to read it, and I started to read it, and then found out that this is actually the character from Greg Rucka's Queen and Country comic book that he did. So that was kind of interesting to find that out. So I've never read Queen and Country, but I'm reading the novel, and it's just a damn good read, and I'm going to go back and read Queen and Country. So that's my recommendation.
And this is Scott.
Well, I can't believe that people wouldn't know about this because it's American flag. This whole thing revolves around Howard Chaykin now. They reissued the trades was a while ago. It wasn't that long ago, though. There's something going on here I don't know about.
just ignore and keep talking.
Howard Chaykin is great. That's it. That's all I got. If you find anything about Howard Chaykin by Howard Chaykin, you basically got something pretty good usually. I don't think he gets as much notice as he should get for his as much as he's done and as good as it's been. That's all I got. Next,
is that who just released the hardcovers on that?
Dynamic Forces.
Dynamic Forces. Yeah. Just they looked like they were really, really good, but
they're too expensive for me when I have all the issues already. So I don't really.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not gonna. I just dug my issues out and read them again in honor of the whole thing. So it was what I did.
All right, I got one. Now, our listeners know because we talked about it recently, but maybe your listeners aren't aware, and that is Back Issue Magazine. If you read comic books and you got them in the 70s, you dig 70s and 80s books, it's a magazine that takes a really in-depth look at all those comics. It's extremely well written and edited, and it's from Tomorrow's Publishing. It comes out 6 times a year, and you must buy it. There you go.
Cool. That's our 5 things you should know about if you don't already.
Excellent. Is that everyone?
That's everyone.
Great. Well, I'll give one thing to add to the list. My pick is a graphic novel that came out called Gun Fu, and it was written by Howard Shum and Joey Mason. It's an Image title. And we actually, my friend Jimmy that was with us for the Comic-Con, he picked it up, and it's really funny book. They did a really great job. It kind of takes place during the 40s Nazi, during the World War II, and the main character is this Asian kind of crime-fighting secret agent guy who speaks like in hip-hop slang the entire book, and no one notices or even comments on it, but he's always talking in this kind of very modern-day hip-hop kind of slang, and he's Asian, and it actually works incredibly well with the story. Very, very funny stuff. So Gun Fu, that's my pick.
Cool.
And I guess I'll just throw in this one. Maybe somebody knows about it, but there's this really great website. If you're just into comic art, www.comicsartcommunity.com.
No, I never heard of that.
Okay. Basically, people kind of, I think how it works is that people upload whatever art they have from that person, and it's really comprehensive. There's a listing of almost any artist you can think of, and there's just images from that artist.
Like original sketches.
Yeah, original sketches that haven't been done for commercial use. Some have been. There's even some black and white pages that were done for, like, storyboards and everything. So that's really good stuff, and I've spent many a time looking at that.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
It is. I'm familiar with that website, and I've been on that quite a few times as well. And the nice thing about it is you can they have a search engine on there that you can just type in a character, like you're looking for specific art on a character, and you type in that name, and it'll punch up every piece of artwork that's has been uploaded to that website. And it doesn't matter who artist.
How many images of Power Girl are there? No. Sorry.
So yeah, it is like convention sketches, commissions, people that have acquired original art, or and I think even creators upload some of their stuff on there as well to share. But it is very well done, very well laid out, easy to navigate, easy to find stuff that you're looking for and to dig into. So it is very well done. Good,
cool,
good thing.
Some great Bruce Timm stuff on there, like him doing Marvel stuff, which looks weird.
Hey, what do you guys have come? You have anything you that you can or that you wanna spotlight in some of your upcoming episodes? Any kind of interviews that you got planned coming up?
What you should mention. Well, can we give a leak? Okay. Well, we actually have the newest episode that's up. First of all, I gotta say, no one can keep up with you guys.
Damn straight.
We're an industrial machine over here.
You're like a podcast every 2 hours.
We are the
Every time I
Borg.
go to, Comics Podcast Network, there's at least 3 more episodes. And now you have, what's with the half episodes? You have
Well, see, we keep doing it when we get together whenever we can, and we record an episode, and we make the number the next number, and then we put it in the can until it's time to release it. And sometimes we get together pretty frequently, so we end up with a lot of them done ahead of time. And then all of a sudden something will come up that we want to get out in a hurry. We got some cool interview or something like that. And it's like, well, crap, we already have, the next 3 already done, so we'll just squeeze it in and make it a half so that it can go in chronological order. Otherwise everything will get all screwed up.
Great. Well, we have the most recent podcast that we have up right now is an interview with Darwin Cook,
Cool.
and he talks about a few of his past work. Actually, he talks about when he did work over at Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond, and then talks about a new project that is coming up, which is really cool to talk about. And since this is a special podcast, we'll let you know about a couple really exciting new interviews that we did at Comic-Con, but we still have to post. We have an interview with John Cassaday that will be up pretty soon, and we have an interview with Jim Lee.
Nice.
So those are
Yeah,
actually.
I was figuring that sooner or later you'd have John Cassaday since you came to the convention with him.
Yeah, exactly. And so you don't want to blow your load all at the same time. And actually, we just finished an interview with Kyle Baker the other day, and that was a really good interview. And that'll be up probably next week.
Cool. We have a special 4-hour exclusive with Stan Lee, but that's really no big deal. No. I'm just kidding. I wish.
Nice. But maybe he'll tell you that story about how he came up with Spider-Man.
That's right.
Excelsior.
Hey, if I could interview him, he can say whatever the heck he wants to say, and I'll be sitting there with rapt attention, I'll tell you that.
Well, I mentioned this to Brian before too, but to our listeners too, Julio and I actually work in the building that was the original home to Timely Comics.
Oh, wow.
Became Marvel Comics.
That's very cool.
So that's kind of a cool, and we're on the 29th floor, and that's on the 10th floor. Well, that's where it was, on the 10th floor. But we haven't had a chance to rummage through any closets to see if there's any scraps of anything. So any plugs for you guys?
We'll soon have our big 50th episode, which we're going to make a big deal out, and it's so secret that even the rest of the guys don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. So we can't reveal that, but we have an upcoming interview probably with Michael Lark and the new Ensler on Daredevil, and we got some other things we're working on. Unfortunately, nothing is cemented yet, but my email box is flourishing. It's just that as soon as we can actually get phone time with these people, then we can talk about it. I don't want to jinx us.
Awesome. Well, give us a quick plug then, how people can contact you guys and check out your site directly.
Okay, well, it's comicgeekspeak.blogspot.com is our home on the internet, and everything's there. All our episodes, linked to our forum, our email address, everything is all right there.
Excellent. And for our side, you can check that at cni.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN. Or you can check out both our shows and all the comics at the Comics Podcast Network.
That's right.
That's the one. All right, guys, thanks so much for taking some time and chatting with us here on this fancy crossover podcast show.
Yeah, I don't think we're the first ever. We got beat out by some of the other guys, but
we did get beat out. But this was fun. Maybe we'll do an annual or something.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we can do special numbering. Can we have a glossy? Can we have a fancy cover or something?
Prismatic.
That's
not episode 0.
I want a foil.
Yeah.
Well, just goes to show crossovers can be cool.
Yeah.
That's right. To hell with Infinite Crisis. All right, guys.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. care.
Bye bye.
We'll see you.